Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm pretty excited as I get to show you how to draw the head in the three-quarter view. Let's begin. I'm drawing the head using a front and side view reference I prepared earlier. It allows me to establish the top, bottom and sides of the head. From the reference I find the height of the eye and the brow lines. Next, I'll position the center line in the three-quarter angle. Once in place, I can draw a circle to represent the top half of the skull. This method is very close to the Loomis method, with some slight variations that I found help me understand the technique a little better. Once the circle is drawn, I then start to place the other important landmarks of the face, breaking it down into 3 easy reference points: the hairline, the base of the nose, and the base of the chin. I'll draw a curved line from the back of the skull towards the corner of the chin, and curve the downward line from the eye socket towards the chin to reflect the curves of the face. Once the basic head structure is done, I'll start with the larger details such as the eye socket. Keeping my lines and shapes for these structures big and simple will make it easier to adjust later. From there, I can work out the structure of the nose. Using my front and side references, I can determine the shape and width of the nose from the position of the eyes. Keep in mind, the angle of the eyes will change in the three-quarter view now, slightly pushing the left eye behind the nose and also emphasizing the two-point perspective angle, causing a more pronounced angle to the brow and chin area. This reveals more of the side of the head, which is now no longer represented as a ball shape. I begin to cut away the sides to sculpt it with the pencil and taking away the unnecessary sections to give it more of a human form. You can see how this blocking in has revealed the right side of the head. And using the side view reference again, I can pinpoint the shape and position of the jaw and the ear, noting how long each feature is and adjusting them where needed until it looks right. So the mouth is always a little tricky. I have to keep in mind not just the placement of the upper and lower lips, but also how the mouth wraps around this slightly pronounced part of the lower area of the face. So I'll keep the lines soft and rounded without too much detail to begin with. Once I feel this is right, I can move on to the chin, creating a slightly pronounced area like a ball shape to create the illusion of all the curves and bumps of the face, such as with the eye socket and how it dips in and out again, where it passes over the edge of the cheekbone. As I start to see more of the structures falling into place, I can start to refine the details. I've spoken about this in my previous videos and in my free guide Drawing Head for Beginners, which you can find in the link in the description below. But with any drawing, you want to block in the shapes first slightly, then start to fill in the gaps with your details. It can be very tempting to start with a detail, but then you might find it doesn't match proportionally to the rest of the image, or the consistency of line weight or style might change. By slowly building your image from large shapes to smaller, you keep the overall image consistent, and it's easy to adjust later if needed. Another aspect to drawing anything is don't let a bad line or mistake stop you. If you make an error, simply erase it and try again. It's through your practice and repetition that you increase your knowledge and your skill. For example, I've been drawing for years and I still feel frustrated with many of my drawings and always hope to get better. And I know that by continuing to produce art and through that repetition, I will always improve. Certainly something I can work on are my characters' hairstyles. Fashion is not one of my strong points. I always seem to default to some sort of 60s, 70s hairstyle out of a James Bond film or superhero comic. But hey, that's also part of my learning experience and how I've been able to learn things. I find things that interest me, observe them, and then try to emulate them or copy aspects of it into my work. I've grown up on a pretty staple diet of 70s and 80s action, horror, and sci-fi films, and that's influenced a lot of my work and how I approach my work. As a child, I'd copy the VHS covers we'd hire from the video store or trace the book covers of my favourite science fiction novels over and over again. And certainly that's how we all start out learning anything: observation, mimicking, and then adjusting it to our own tastes or comforts. Is it healthy to trace someone else's artwork for a beginner artist? Yes and no. I'd say tracing can be helpful for study and practice, and I'm suggesting tracing as opposed to outright copying and then passing it off as your own. But use tracing as a means of study. The best example I can think of is trace a portrait of a famous painting or photo of an actor using just a basic outline. Then, just using your line drawing, note the key areas of the drawing. Then try and draw it again without tracing, but just by observing. And repeat again and again. You'll find that you build confidence in your drawing skills and improve muscle memory when it comes to drawing portraits or characters from imagination. You'll start to recognize that the overall structure of the face is the same for each individual, with slight variations in size or depth of specific points, creating a uniqueness to the character. And this is going to then allow you to make really interesting drawings for your future projects as you begin to develop your own style and take your art closer and closer to where you really want it to be. Again, I want to thank you for watching my videos. If you think this was useful and you know someone who might also benefit from it, please do share. And what are your thoughts on tracing? Is it bad or is it good for beginners? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. See you next time.